All right, welcome. So myself and Lauren and Curtis over here thought, hey, why not do something fun for the best league, the most famous league in all of fantasy football in the U.S., Fourth and Drunk to go. Why not we make a podcast? So we decided to name it that, Fourth and Drunk to Go podcast, right? So unfortunately, Lauren couldn't make it today, but she'll be here next time. Love you, honey. So, yeah, Chase Muncie here, of course. This is Curtis Casper, the unfortunate winner of last year's league.
Back to back, baby.
But yeah, so it's early in the season, fellas, right? But it's never too early to start talking fantasy. So we won't get into projections or how much I'm going to win by this year, how awesome I'm going to draft, or whatever. We'll just go into last year. I kind of want to talk about that, right? That's what we talk about for the few months after leading into the next one. So, yeah. So last year's recap, man. What a year. No hiccups. No unfortunate things happening. It was just, from start to finish, a hell of a fantasy season. So, we're trying this out. You're going to have to bear with us a little bit here. We'll be on our computers quite a bit, but I thought this would be fun. I've thought about this for a few seasons. Lauren and I talked about it quite a bit. Thought, why don't we go ahead and just make something? So, figured we'd start off with the playoffs, right? I mean, that's what we all... Who was the famous coach?
Playoffs.
Playoffs.
Jim Mora, baby.
Jim Mora. There you go. Shout out Colts. Either way, so yeah, I mean, hell of a year. This guy over here just kind of dominated, man. Overall, I hate to say it. I hate to give him his props, but he did good. He had a good year. He was number one in the league all year. Ran through playoffs. I'm looking at the playoff bracket right now, and bye first round. Second round was pretty questionable, but luckily Doty was even worse. 102 to 87.
Thanks, buddy, for that.
102 to 87 was the second round score. But then he drops a 165 championship week. So even Alex G's 132, which is a pretty good week, couldn't stand up. So congratulations to him. Big congratulations also to Mr. G. Shout out G, baby. Second place. Can't be too upset about that. Yeah, didn't quite get first, but second's not too bad. And then Mr. Doty bringing it up with third. Doty had a pretty solid team. About halfway through the season, I expected you to be there, and you got third, so not too bad either. At least you didn't lose any money, right?
Handed it all back.
Yeah. So what do you think, Kurt? What you got on your mind?
Let's see.
Just trying to get your computer to work?
Yeah, no kidding. I'm out of whack again. I'm off.
So playoff teams, Kurt was first, right? He got the first round bye. G was second. He got the first round bye as well. And then it was Doty against myself and JL against Ewok. Ewok's your buddy, right?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Dustin.
Mr. Dustin hanging in there.
Mr. Dustin.
JL got that win, and I lost to Doty. He beat me 154 to 121, so that pushed G to play JL. JL made it in.
JL, we still don't know how you made it in, big dog. I'm not seeing it. But hey,
Looking at the teams, man.
Your team came up in the clutch when it had to happen.
Yeah, it got to the playoffs, got to the second round.
Get in and anything can happen.
Couldn't pull it out though. Dropped a 90 burger in the second round. That usually doesn't do it. So G got that 144, and then like I said earlier, Kurt won. So Kurt beat G in the finals, and then Doty. 161, Doty.
161, putting up numbers.
Smacked it. Like I said, got that third place, and I'll bring up me just because I made it to the playoffs. Let's see what I got down here. Got to the fifth place game.
Starting out 0-4.
Yeah, hey, we'll get to that. Turn around of the century. But got to the fifth place game, but lost again. So, shout out to Ewok, Mr. Dustin dropping 131 to 103. That 100 in those playoffs. It's gonna get you beat more often than not.
Every damn time.
So, final standings are pretty much what we talked about here. Mr. Kirk coming away with the championship. G second, Doty third, JL fourth, Dustin fifth, me sixth, and then the better half, Mrs. Quiet Quitter.
Quiet Quitter.
I think that was the name last year. I think it was aptly appointed to your team. You know, you had it going, but then you just kind of quit in the background. You were still woman enough to set your line up and get it going, but I know you didn't have the heart to it. And then Stroud Boy, man, coming up with that. Well, see, these records are off, so must be off playoff bracket because he's 2-12,
Yeah.
and got 8th. So
Yeah.
that clearly didn't happen.
Right.
So we'll put Blumpkin.
Tough season right there.
Tough
It's
season.
a tough season on that one.
Blumpkin, Mr. Jeremy Jackson, 7-7, just missed the playoffs right there with Lauren. And actually, you probably should have been 7th, and Lauren was 8th. Then old Hayden bringing up 9th with Scranton Stranglers, and then our proud Stroud Boy. There we go. Bringing up the rear. Hey,
Sometimes seasons go like that.
hey,
Man.
we've all had them, right? We've all had those seasons where no matter what you do, it's the wrong lineup. No matter who you put in, they're getting hurt.
It's impossible.
No matter who you're trying to pick up, the guy in front of you picks them up right in front of you.
Right.
They're the ones waking up at 4 a.m. to change their shit, you know, so they're the first one to get the free agents that no one wants to waste a waiver wire for. Like, hey, I don't want to waste my order, but I wake
Kyron
up
Williams.
at 4:01.
Kyron Williams. all
Kyron
day
Williams.
long.
What a hell of a
Pick
pickup.
up the century.
So, yeah, I figured we'd just go through kind of each team, look at them. We'll start at the bottom on this one. We've been starting at the top on everything. So, what happened with Stroud Boy? Are
Where
you
you
looking
going?
at his team?
I'm going right there.
Let's
right
look at
now.
that 2-12 and see what's going on.
I got it. Justin Jefferson killed him. Got hurt. He was gone for what, 6-7 weeks,
Yeah,
something like that.
right in the heart of the schedule there.
Right in the middle. Jonathan Taylor wasn't there for a large portion of it. Not much depth in that team
Yeah,
at all. Laporta was a good pickup.
yeah, that was a good one. He came out of nowhere. Talk about rookie
Yeah.
tight ends.
Yeah.
They were supposed to be ghosts, but he balled out last year.
He's going to be a top 5 tight end this year, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
As for not much you can really do with that team, to be honest with you.
Yeah, definitely running backs, man. When you had Taylor hurt,
Yeah.
you were fighting with Chuba Hubbard, which, I mean, shout out, go Pokes, but he's not an NFL back, right? Like, he did all right with the volume. He got some points here and there, especially a PPR. He might have got you a little bit more, but,
Right.
man, I mean, Charbonnet is your second back behind Taylor and Chuba Hubbard?
Well, Jalen Warren at the wide receiver flex spot.
Oh, yeah, there you
But
go.
I mean, he split time.
And Madison, Alexander Madison, I was kind of shot in the dark. I took a chance on him in another league too, hoping he would do something. He had a couple good weeks, but man, he's not it, you know.
We thought he was actually going to be a really good one.
Yeah, he's just not it. But yeah, I mean, starting lineup. I mean, I get it. C.J. Stroud out of nowhere,
God,
great.
stud.
First two receivers, Amon Ra
Yeah.
and Justin Jefferson. I mean, you can't beat that right there. Those two. But the injury to Jefferson, Jerry Judy, you know, Chuba
Bust.
Hubbard, bust kind
Jerry
of.
Judy, man.
Yeah, I
That
don't
guy-
know what happened.
That guy
to
killed a
him.
lot of people in
Man.
the leagues. Just not good enough.
Shout out to Henry Ruggs. Or should I say shout out? Like, did he actually like killed somebody? Okay, we'll scratch that. That's not the important one right there.
And
But
edit.
yeah, well, man, it was kind of meant as a joke, but probably ill-timed. Sorry,
Well,
sorry. to
Stroud
the
boy,
villain there.
hey, you got the year's coming up.
Yeah. Just
That's
get
in the
a
past
little
now.
bit better depth. Trevor Lawrence obviously didn't help either, but
No.
that running back depth, especially when Taylor went out, I mean,
Yeah,
that's rough.
that's a that's a rough one.
And obviously, guys, we're looking at, the last couple weeks of the season lineup. Like week 1, whatever you had, could have been better, could have been worse, kind of irrelevant. That's not how it ended. But, I mean, you could have had someone better. Maybe they got hurt. Maybe you had Nick Chubb,
Oh.
Man, he got hurt. I had him in ESPN. That killed me.
That is
So, who we got next on the lineup? Who's second from
We got
last?
Scranton Stranglers.
All right,
Mr.
Mr. Hayden
Hayden.
Hines.
Yep.
What's he looking like?
Looking like Jalen Hurts is his quarterback.
He's a big quarterback
He's
guy.
a
He hadn't been in the league too long,
huge-
but last year I think he had Mahomes and Kelsey as his duo. So he's all about getting that big quarterback early.
Teach me your ways. I haven't figured it out for like 5 years.
Quarterbacks, man, they can be a struggle if you don't get one of the top ones. Or even me, I got Mahomes this year. It didn't do shit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, took a chance on him, and I won't do that again.
Right.
Except for shout out this year, I probably will. He's actually going to do pretty good. He's got some guys on him this year. I expect him to open it up.
There's
but-
going to be a lot of good quarterbacks out there.
Yeah.
Even the rookie class coming in.
All right, I'm pulling this up here, Hayden. Let's see what we got.
Wide receivers.
Ayuk, okay.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Higgins is always hurt.
Yeah,
that's
so much potential.
He's so good when he's healthy.
Yeah, I'm glad he signed again this year. That's going to help Burrow if Chase signs. Man, that's pretty good.
It's gonna be- just
but
stay
last
healthy.
year was rough.
Right. DJ Moore had a few huge games,
I
but
mean-
he was pretty quiet for the most part.
Yeah, let's look at him real quick because I was a DJ Moore doubter. I mean,
I love
Kurt
DJ
over here
Moore.
and I had a bet on DJ Moore the year before last, which I ended up winning.
Yeah.
But it was pretty close, and
He
that's
got
only
hurt.
because he got. Wait, who was the trash ass quarterback
Oh,
that
God.
he had thrown? It was Cam Newton for a little bit, right? Because
Was
he
it
came
Darnold?
back. Darnold, fucking Darnold. Yeah.
It was awful. Whatever it wasn't anybody good.
Let's see
Throwing
if
the
I,
football.
how can I can't.
But he
Oh,
had-
game log. Here we go.
Oh, Russian.
Look at DJ Moore
I
real
mean, he
quick.
did
Hayden,
have
see
1,300 yards this year, though.
Yeah.
136 targets, 96 catches for 1,300 yards. But it felt like every week that he did blow up, he had like 200 yards.
Yeah. I mean,
And
look
then he
at
had
it.
the weeks where he had like 2 catches for 12 yards. and
Yeah,
it's
it was all the inconsistency. I mean, week
Yeah.
1, 64 yards. Week 2, 159 in
Yeah.
TD. Week 3, 6 yards. Week 4, 8 yards. Or I'm sorry, that was receptions. 18 yards, 52 yards, 68 yards. I mean, 68 had a touchdown, but that's just really not doing it much.
no.
Then he had 114 yards, no TD, 96 in the TD. So he put together a few games, and then 58 yards, 44, 55, 54, 51, all with no TDs.
Just nothing.
That string right there hurt.
Well, it's called Justin Fields effect. And he can't throw the football.
Yeah, for sure on that one.
Well, now he has Caleb Moore, or Caleb Williams. So
Yeah.
we'll see what he can do with
And
that.
who was the other receiver that came over? Oh, Keenan Allen, right?
Well, and they drafted Roma Dunze from
yeah,
Washington.
that's gonna be pretty sick.
So that's going to
I
be
mean,
a
rookie
three-headed-
quarterback, but it's still gonna be pretty sick.
Well, and they got Swift too in the backfield
Yeah.
now. So that offense could be ridiculous. Actually.
Well, and then he has this game we all remember, right? 230 yards
That's
and
the
3
one.
touchdowns.
That's the one where
Like that's unheard of. I'll take that in 2 weeks.
he scored 60
that in
that
3
week
weeks.
or something like that.
Damn. And
Whatever
then the
it
next
was.
week, 130 in a TD.
Yeah.
Then he kind of drops off 41 in a TD. Still 10 points, not bad in non-PPR. Then 100, and then last week of the season, 25. So up and down. I'm sorry to sidetrack us on that. I wanted to look at him because I am kind of a DJ Moore hater. I mean, he's got the talent. I'm not going to lie about that, but it just, you know. So he
Hater.
was up and down. Pacheco, I was a hater on him, and he had a pretty good year last
He did
year,
have
right?
he actually had a really good year.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of his because they throw the ball so damn much.
Yeah, I know.
So it's,
He still did. He had a couple TD games, I remember.
yeah.
But I mean, he's a high end RB2, maybe low end RB1.
well, he gets no
Yeah.
catches. So
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
kinda
in
hurts.
17 games last year, he only had. Well, I guess he had 44 catches. So
But still, that's not
That's
a
not-
ton for a running back.
no, it's not.
It's
Well,
17, 34. That's 2.5 a game ish.
the only good thing is he's the only running back in Kansas City.
Yeah.
I guess Jared McKinnon comes in and vultures all the little
Every
swing pass
once in a
touchdowns
while. Yeah,
for
every
like
once in a
2
while.
yards
Yeah.
and the touchdown. I'm not a
So-
big Isaiah Pacheco fan, but I mean, he's
Yeah,
a starter.
Yeah, and he gets
He's
the
a-
volume, as much as you can in that offense,
Right.
Joshua Kelly, nothing to write home about. And obviously, like I said, we're looking at last week's standings, so I know that's probably not all your team, but Kelsey, I mean,
Kelsey
good.
struggled this year. He didn't get 1,000 yards. He wasn't his.
Did he
normal,
really not?
No, he broke his streak of 8 straight seasons or 9 straight seasons of
Damn.
1,000 yards. So he
See, I
took
mean-
actually a step back. Taylor Swift effect, right there for you. But he was still good. I mean, good night. It's Travis Kelsey.
I know, right?
So every time you see him in the lineup playing against you, you're like, shit.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, he didn't.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 TDs all year?
Yeah, struggled.
Damn.
And he struggled with drops too.
See, he was one of those that in a PPR league last year, he still would have kind of held his own. So, because even in those lower games, he's getting 6, 7 catches, even when he's getting 70 yards and no TD.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you had 6 points for PPR on that. That's double digits just
Yeah.
on an off game, you
Right.
know. But
just had a ton of drops this year.
yeah. Zay Flowers, a lot of potential, just not much. Jordan Addison, there you go.
That's especially during when Justin Jefferson was out. He was a really good pickup.
Yeah.
Or if you drafted him or whatever.
But not much else on that, Hayden. I mean, you know,
Gabe
it
Davis.
happens, right? Record kind of reflects that a little bit.
Gabe Davis is Chase's favorite
Yeah,
player.
that was my boy, but he's just
like the DJ Moore of me. I can't stand him.
yeah,
This guy
he's,
loves him to death over here.
I'm not gonna go down that boat again, or down that river again on my boat. Like I just
Right. Not
Can't
much of
do
a
it.
not much of a bench. Once
yeah,
you got
bench is
past
kind of
your
struggling
starters.
there.
No real depth. Your defensive players carried you. Your defensive players are really good.
Yeah, I was looking at that too. They are.
Let's go.
Well, you want to hit Lauren up next or Blumpkin? 6 and 8.
Go,
I guess I'm just going by record.
Yeah,
so
let's go Lauren.
I know playoff is kind of different on that, but
Let's go,
let's
Lauren.
look at Lowe's team.
She had Justin Herbert for the whole year until Flacco came in, which Herbert struggled as well.
Yeah, he did.
He's-
I did.
Golly, he was
I'm
something
pretty
different.
sure she made
Well,
some kind of comment about white quarterbacks too. I'm never gonna get another white quarterback. I'm like, he's good, I promise. He just
Right.
ain't doing it
Well,
this year.
Mike Williams, Keenan Allen hurt again, in and
Yeah.
out of the lineup.
Yeah. Austin Eckler wasn't himself last
Austin
year.
Eckler was terrible.
So quarterback, yeah, I mean that hurts. You take that guy. I mean, he's not a first 4 rounds guy, but he's a guy you kind of lean your hat. You know, you put your hat on that, thinking he'll be all right. You know, top 5 potential,
Exactly.
top 10 like floor, but I guess you have to go even lower because he wasn't even top 10.
He's got a top 5 arm. Just
Yeah.
we'll see what Harbaugh can do with him.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a lot better this year. Not having Mike Williams or Keenan Allen to worry about whether they're going to be there or not.
Amari Cooper, he was a surprise last year, at least to me. He was kind of up and down a little bit too,
He was
but
really up and down. Well, they didn't have anybody throwing him the football.
I mean, well,
Maybe
that's
Deshaun
kind of
Jackson?
last game of the year, but 265-2 in that game against Houston.
Yeah.
Then 100 and a touchdown, 77, 34, 16.
It was not-
That stretch right there was kind of rough, but
Yeah.
then he had 98, 140 with a TD, 90, 22, 100. Man, maybe he didn't do as good as I thought he did.
No. He had, like you said, he had blow-up games. He's kind of like a DJ Moore type.
Yeah.
Blow-up games here and there, and then inconsistent the whole rest of the season.
Yeah.
Johan Dotson. Kind of a, you know.
Just stuck
A
in that
throw-in.
terrible team.
a
He
throw-
has, he's talented.
He's
Just-
actually really good.
Jalen Reed, that's a good little mid-season pickup.
What'd you call
Jaden.
him?
I said Jalen. Jaden. I mean, I had him in, I don't remember what league, but started him a few weeks. He was getting the
Yeah.
ball, especially after Watson was out. He was getting the ball, like running the ball too. Had some
Right.
carries and.
Well, didn't he return kicks too?
I think
isn't
so.
that how
I
he
think he
broke
had a
into
few.
the league? Is how he was returning? Because you get return yards in our Yahoo.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah.
that's
Hey,
another.
that might be something I have to look into off air.
Yeah.
You know, like shit.
And he's quick.
Brees Hall, yeah,
quick.
yeah, he is tiny, quick, just explosive guy. He's gonna make big plays.
Brees Hall.
Brees Hall, I mean, he's so talented.
He's a jet.
Yeah, but I had him too. He's good. He just that offense was so bad.
Aaron Rodgers will help that if he can
Yeah.
stay healthy for more
Yeah.
than 3.5 plays.
Got old Achan here. I mean, what a beast for the little bit. He had those blow up games. If you started him on those games, you did good.
You want to talk about speed?
Yeah.
Good night.
George Kittle.
Didn't have a very good season.
Hey.
I didn't even really.
I
hear
would
about
probably
him.
kill for George Kittle though. At the same time, but I'm just always bad with tight ends, so that's just a me thing. But
What
yeah, I mean he's feast or famine too, just because that offense spreads the ball so much. But
I mean, he only had 65. I mean, he still had over 1,000 yards, 65 catches. I didn't realize he had over 1,000. But I mean,
how many TDs?
6.
Okay, I mean,
But I mean, he had-
1,006 for a tight end.
He had
is-
11 the year before.
Yeah,
So they obviously they have Debo, Ayuk, and CMC. So
yeah, yeah.
it takes away receptions when you have CMC out there too.
Derrick Henry. I mean, he was kind of a bust last year.
wasn't
Just
that
just
good.
getting older. Is he not?
He just wasn't as well. I mean,
While
he had
you're looking
1,100
at it.
yards.
Did he?
Yeah, 1,100 yards. But it never felt like he
Yeah,
had the explosive.
you kind of
games
draft
where-
him for 1,100 being his floor, right? Like, or at least 1,000 being his floor.
You
so,
draft him so he inside the 5-yard line.
Yeah.
I mean, he's never not going to score.
How many TDs did he have?
He had 12.
Okay.
I mean, it's-
maybe I was wrong then.
It just never felt like it was like
Yeah.
a Derrick Henry show. But now with him and Lamar, now it could get scary because you're not going to be able to keep anybody in the inside box.
Yeah, because he's
the
just
handoff and
yeah,
go
he'll
for
bounce
it.
it out every time.
Well, Lamar just doing the
Well, that's what I mean. Lamar holding it and sprinting to
Yeah.
the outside, and you're not going to catch him. So
that's a
you gotta
tough one.
you make the box light to move out, and Henry's just going to run everybody over. So Kurt said this earlier, like, man, Lauren had a pretty good team, like not much depth, but how did she not do it?
Well,
I
Jalen
don't
Waddle
know,
was
just-
hurt for a while too. Jalen
Yeah,
Waddle's
yeah.
always in it, and the thing is, when you start Jalen Waddle and he gets hurt in the first quarter, it's a wasted guy now.
yeah,
So, and he did that probably 4 or 5 times last year.
yeah,
You only got 11 weeks until playoffs or whatever it is. So
Yeah.
4 or 5 times doing that.
yeah. Zeros are so hard to come
Ugh.
off of, man. So
Not
hard.
not much depth after that.
Jerome
Jerome
Ford. He was pretty good this year, especially shout out to my boy Chubb getting hurt that first game.
That is true.
So
Huh.
see, I mean,
I forgot
you
he-
put Jerome Ford in there. So ideally, right, Jerome Ford and Brees Hall and Devon A-Chain, right, and Derrick Henry, and then your receivers are Cooper, Jaden Reed, and Waddle. Like, I mean, I get it. In a perfect world, we're talking about we're not talking about
Not
injuries, and these guys had some injury problems. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good team there, Lo. That's
Yeah. If Achan and Waddle stay healthy all year long, that team's a problem.
yeah. So, all right, well let's move on to the next one.
Blumpkin?
Yeah, good old Jackson.
Mr. Jackson. Hey, thanks for taking Russell Wilson off my hands. That he was an absolute bust last year too. Wide receivers: Drake London, Nico Collins, Chris Olave.
Okay.
Drake London had no one throwing him the ball whatsoever.
Yeah.
And Desmond Ritter, and I don't even know who the other guy was.
Heineke, wasn't it, for a little bit or something? Didn't he come to Atlanta?
I don't know. Basically an afterthought. But this year though he's got Kirk throwing
Yeah.
it to him.
Yeah.
So you never know.
And Olave, I had him in my other league. He's good in a PPR. He didn't get many touchdowns. He got quite a few. I mean, I remember 8-9 receptions for like 90 yards, right? 10 yards,
Every
and that's what
time.
he's getting.
Yeah.
So PPR, that's good, but in this league, he didn't get enough touchdowns, enough big plays.
Derek Carr sucks.
Yeah. Austin Eckler, we talked about him being disappointment.
Well,
Same with Tony Pollard.
Go back up. Nico Collins.
Oh shit.
Nico Collins stud.
Yeah.
But he got hurt even a little bit too.
Yeah.
Him
he
and
missed a
Tank
few
Dell,
games.
and that team is going to be a problem this year. The Houston Texans.
Yeah.
Nico Collins could be a huge, not like
Well, but see, one of the things I was thinking, not to sidetrack too much, but it might be good for Stroud. But I mean, you got Diggs, you got Collins, you got Tank Dell.
Dell.
Like, they can't all have 300-yard or 100-yard games apiece. Their
And
tight ends
Mixon
pretty good.
went over there too,
and
didn't he?
Mixon went over there.
I don't
I
know.
feel like it's almost a San Francisco thing. Like, yeah, it's going to be a good offense, but how do you predict who's going to do what?
You draft the quarterback and hope he throws that all
Well,
along.
that's right. when
That's
you have that many
good.
weapons, okay, well, who's the one that has to get them the ball? Okay,
Yeah.
quarterback.
Well, and Mixon's a good receiver out of the backfield too.
Yeah. He's
So-
getting up there a little bit in age, but I
Yeah.
think, as long as you don't give him
Well, no one's
25 touches a game.
No one's pushing him.
Yeah.
I don't know who the backup running back to the Texans is, but doesn't
You
really
got me
matter.
there right now, at least.
Damian Pierce. That would be
They didn't get rid of him?
I don't know if
I
they
know
did
who's-
or they didn't. He was
I'm
there
thinking
last year,
of-
wasn't he?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess he'll be the backup because you're not gonna split carries with Joe Mixon.
Ty Chandler, TJ Hawkinson. There you go. That's
Hawkinson's
a good
one.
one.
Especially when Justin got hurt.
Michael Pittman. Okay. There you go.
Eckler killed you.
Yeah,
man.
Eckler and
Eckler
Pollard.
just wasn't.
I mean,
both
that's
of
your
those
that's
guys.
your either
Yeah.
first and second or second and third round picks, and they both
Nothing.
underperformed.
That was
Aaron Jones, I mean, here and there, but
He was hurt.
he's a good RB2, maybe flex.
He was hurt.
He was hurt for a while too. Zeke actually had some play last year.
Zeke did well inside the 20s. Inside the 20s, he wasn't anything outside the 20s.
Yeah, it kind of looks. I mean, receivers are good, not great. Got some good ones on there. London kind of.
Pittman Jr.'s a good one. He just
Yeah,
didn't have
yeah, I
anybody.
mean-
Minshew was throwing him the football, but
Kind of looks like quarterback. I mean, not having a solid quarterback, and then your running
Quarterbacks.
backs, man, that's what got it. Because your receivers are legit. You put London, Collins, Olave, Pittman Jr.
your quarterback and your running backs
Yeah.
just. I mean, you would think being Eckler and Pollard, you'd be fine, but they're getting up there in age too. Well, Eckler is. Pollard's not as bad. Not really much else to say about that. I mean, your record kind of.
Yeah, I mean,
Reflects
500, right? Like I think I remember going down last week. He was, last week decided that last playoff spot. So,
Yeah. Well,
same thing with me and Lowe and
Yeah.
him, and I want to say maybe even JL too. I can't remember who the other one was. It was like the last couple weeks was just.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean-
Dustin. I mean, you and Dustin had. You, Dustin, and JL all could have either
8
been
and
in
6,
or
yeah.
out.
There's probably tiebreakers on that stuff
there's
right there.
points. The points affected it.
Yeah.
Big time. All right, let's go to the next one.
Yeah.
That would be
Me?
you, wouldn't it?
Oh shit!
Embrace the suckage.
All right.
Mr. 0-4 himself.
Hey, I changed the name, so some leagues I'm pretty, superstitious. My ESPN league been in there 15 years now. Doty Jackson, whoever. It's Gamecock 69. All right, the name I chose when
He
I was 18
changed it
years
7
old.
times this year. I don't.
But I'm just saying, in that league, I have never touched it. This one, I touch it every year. Like,
Right. Every
I mean,
other,
when you
it's
start,
every other week.
when you start out 0-4, like
Yeah,
I
you gotta
have to
change.
do something.
Hey,
And Purdy, okay, he was steady, right? He was never going to get you 403.
he benched Mahomes.
I had to. Y'all want to watch Kansas City's
I know.
offense
Oh,
last
I know.
year?
I know.
AJ Brown, I mean, good, but
Blow up
I was
games.
worried about that pick when I made it.
Mm-hmm.
Saquon never did what he should have for me. That hurt me.
Your running backs are tough.
Calvin Ridley was a bust.
Yeah,
First
Calvin.
2 weeks of the year were good. After that, he didn't do shit.
Trevor Lawrence isn't that good. I don't think.
Nah, I don't know.
I don't think
I
he's
know.
that.
I
Well,
don't
they
know
just
what to
gave
think
him
about
155 million. or
this year. I
300,
think this
whatever
year
it
will be the
was.
deciding year. He's no longer. He's going to be junior year, 3-4 years in the
Well,
league.
they just signed him for 8 years or whatever it is.
I mean, they just got to sign him because they got. Would you rather have Trevor Lawrence or some bum off the street? I mean, you got to pay him what you got to pay him nowadays. It sucks
Rather
for
have a
them,
bum off the
but
street for what he did last year.
Rashad White. I mean, that was my man going into the year. He killed it for me.
Yeah.
Swift was a great pickup, and then he just didn't do shit. Like the last 4 or 5 weeks, like he did great from week, I don't know, 5 to 11 ish.
Well, whose spot did he take? He took someone's spot and then he just ran with it for a little bit, and then he just kind of fell off.
Yeah, I don't remember
It
who
was
the
him
other
and somebody
Philly
else.
running back was. They always kind of had the 3-headed monster.
Boston.
And then, Boston
Who
Scott.
was the other one?
Um,
Can't remember. But they all intertwined.
I was the dude from
interchanged.
Seattle the year before. Who was the running
Rashad
back?
Penny.
Penny. There you go.
But there was-
and
there
he
was-
never even saw the field.
No,
really.
there was one more that wasn't. I can't remember who it was.
I don't know.
The little fast dude. I can't remember. Anyways,
Yeah.
Swift was good for a while in the beginning,
Yeah,
and then he just kind of fell off.
Tight end was a revolving door for me, as it always is. Jameer Gibbs. Shout out to Hayden Hines for hooking me up with that one.
Yeah, Jameer Gibbs. That's a
Um,
good pickup right there.
That's the
since you're-
story. I'll never forget that one, and I know Lauren won't either. This wound's kind of deep, but what started that run, I was down fucking like 26 points. Monday night game, all I had was Gibbs left. Wasn't doing anything. I stopped watching it. I think you texted me and was like, "Oh shit, he got a big touchdown." And
It was like a
next
60
thing I-
yarder, so it was like plus like 4 or whatever it is for the 40-yard touchdowns.
next thing I know is he's going fourth quarter. He's getting it. He's got like 24 points, and I'm just waiting for another run, and he never got it. And I was like, "Fuck, man, great play, but that hurts me." And then there was a 2.5 point stat correction the next morning, and I beat.
I never seen him so
never
happy in my
seen
life.
that.
I get a text at 4 in the morning when he wakes up, God forbid. And
My
all of a
lovely,
sudden,
beautiful wife took it on that one, and I felt bad for her, but I needed that win more than she did. And you never look bad. You never
No
look
one
down on
feels
a
bad in
fantasy
fantasy.
win, but.
no one feels
No,
bad.
you can't. But I did. I mean, that one was pretty harsh. Not only did he get a huge amount to get it close, but then
Yeah.
that big a stat correction, that's just insane.
Right.
But, I mean, my team was just, I had a lot of promise. Like I was looking earlier, it said I had the best draft last year, which we know is not a good thing in fantasy. But I had a decent team. It just Mahomes killed me.
Saquon
and,
didn't. Saquon
and
hurt you.
Saquon killed me. And Deontay Johnson didn't do what he was supposed to do. That offense was terrible.
Mahomes.
Calvin Ridley dropping off. You know, they just all kind of. I mixed and matched. Had a pretty good win streak in the middle to get back to playoff contention, but it just wasn't it, man. It just wasn't my year.
Well, your defensive guys were actually pretty damn good.
They were at the end of the year. I struggled with all this. Myles Garrett. I mean, he'll have a 3-sack game, and then he'll have like nothing. Because he's the focus of the offense, right? They're double teaming him. They're doing
to the point where everybody's just sliding.
Yeah.
Not a bad year though. You made the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean,
that's all you can ask for is a chance.
I might not win many championships, but I couldn't tell you the last time I missed the playoffs. Like I'm talking 6-8 years in a row. I don't even know what it is, but hey, that's only half the battle. You know, like I got to learn to finish, and I'm not.
Give yourself a chance.
Hey, give myself a chance.
Chances are 0-7 for what he just said, but hey, as long as you give yourself a chance at the end.
Yeah, I mean, just make the playoffs. That's what we talk about all the time, right? Just make it. All you gotta do is make it in. I've won a shit before with a losing record as the 6th seed. Yep. I've won it before in ESPN, but you just gotta give yourself. That's what we always talk about. Give yourself a chance, but it's just.
That's why the points are so important. Even in the weeks that you lose, they always count to the end standings.
Yep.
All right, moving on to Ewok and Friends, Mr. Dustin.
Your boy.
Sitting here looking at quarterback and Dak. Not bad.
I mean, he puts up numbers. He might not be a good real-life quarterback, but...
Well,
sorry, Cowboys fans, out there, but...
We're not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry, right?
A lot of garbage points.
Yeah.
They ran up the score. What sucks is they ran up the score so often that in the second half they didn't have to really throw that much, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And their defense scored so many damn touchdowns that their defense was ridiculous this year.
Yeah.
With how many touchdowns was it Duran Bland?
Yeah.
You had him.
I picked him up. Yeah.
He had like 5 himself.
Hell, that might have been the reason I got into the playoffs, honestly. He was getting 10 to 20 points a week guaranteed as a corner position. You can't get that.
And he was returning them all for touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Tyler Lockett, I mean, I've never been a fan of the guy. Like, I respect him in real life, but fantasy, he's so up and down.
I actually traded him, Tyler Lockett.
Oh, did you?
Mid-year, I had Tyler Lockett.
Okay.
And I got rid of him in a trade to him.
What was the trade? Do you remember?
I cannot remember what it was. I can't remember.
We'll come back to that. I won't put you on the spot there.
I cannot remember.
Cooper Kupp, I mean...
Hurt.
Yeah.
Always hurt for some reason, but when he's in there, man, he is a flippin' stud.
Yeah.
Metcalf... I'm from Washington State, and I'm not a Metcalf guy. Geno and him just don't have the rapport together. I don't get it. And he's a hothead, and he just takes himself out of ball games. But not a bad receiver to have on your team though when he's actually playing well.
I think that's kind of tough though, right? Look, I mean, Lockett and Metcalf on the same team.
They don't throw enough.
That's kind of tough.
They don't, and Geno.
Yeah.
That's what we're going with. And maybe if it was Patrick Mahomes, then okay, I'll have all 3 of your receivers. But
yeah. Or even Stroud last year, if you had Dell and Nico Collins or something. But yeah, there's not enough production for those two to go around. Najee, I mean, hell of a talent, workhorse, but that line was just so bad. He struggled. He literally worked for every yard he got.
Well, and he gets no catches.
Yeah.
Because you have Jalen Warren that comes in on third down every single time.
Yeah.
And even at the end of the year, they started actually doing a 50-50 split to where Warren was actually playing a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like Najee took inside the 20, and Jalen Warren outside of that was the guy. More explosive, just shiftier guy.
Yeah. Those split backfields are always, you can't predict them.
So tough.
Like.
God, they're Mostert and Achane. It's just, who do you pick?
They either both go off, which is very rare, or one of the two does, or there's even weeks neither one. So it's like it's just hard to have split backfields like that.
Bijan wasn't a real fan of him.
Your Texas boy?
Yeah,
Man, he's a beast though. He's good.
He was on a bad offense.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you had Desmond Ridder throwing the football.
He got some good touchdowns though. I'm gonna look his stuff up. Are you looking it up right now?
He only had 4, and he didn't really play that well. He did have 976 yards, but 4 touchdowns, 4 fumbles.
3 receiving touchdowns. That helped a little bit.
Well, he's a do-it-all guy.
Yeah.
He just, I mean, Kirk Cousins is going to help him so much.
Yeah.
Or at least you'd figure he would.
It's kind of surprising.
Yeah. Well, with all the hype that was coming in on him, I mean, he was a first-round pick, second-round pick. So
It kind of looks like also the first half of the year. I mean, 10 rushes, 19.
They didn't give him the football.
10 rushes, for your, number 6 overall pick
Yeah.
or 4 or
You
whatever.
gotta give him the
like
damn football.
14, 13-1. I remember that game. 11, 22. Kind of seemed like the end of the year maybe, but
Right.
you're right. They didn't give him enough
Just didn't give him the
touches.
ball. Well, they didn't have enough possessions.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
couldn't get first
Three
downs.
and out. Three and
Yeah.
out. How many
Yeah.
plays can you run if you're 3 and out every time?
That's why Pitts and London and all those receivers. I mean,
Yeah.
get him a freaking quarterback. Jake Ferguson was a middle of the road tight end. I'd say upper tier tight end. He was pretty good with Dak and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
He caught a lot of ball. Him and Lamb were the two guys in that offense that really flourished.
Puka, I mean, talk
Dude.
about out of nowhere breakout star of
Dude.
the year. Just beast, long, runs away from everybody, deep threat galore. I mean, he catches them short too, but when that dude strides, it looks like he's not going very fast, but no one ever catches him. He just
You know what the weird part is, though? He only had 6 touchdowns.
no.
I'm looking at it right here. 6 touchdowns. Career receiving. He was that guy that.
1,500 yards.
But that's what I'm saying. He was
Yeah.
the guy that would get 10, 12 yards each play, but he'd have like 12 catches. So
Yeah.
you're ending up at 122
yeah,
yards or whatever, but no touchdowns.
Yeah. Damn, that 6 surprises me. I feel like I just saw a highlight
Right.
at
Well,
one after the other of him just
Yeah.
running for touchdowns.
well, and he had more than a couple catches that were 40 plus, so you get an extra 2 points for that every single time. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's where his points get inflated. But he was a absolute stud pickup.
Javante, man, that's my boy too. He's so talented. Get out of Denver, please. He's so talented. James Conner, I mean, I know he was hurt a few games, but
Yeah. Well,
I think he had a decent year last year.
even he had James Cook too. Down at
Oh,
the bottom.
shit. Okay.
So his running backs on his bench were.
So like we kind of break down with other teams, right? His minus okay, there you go again. Cup and Puka on the same team,
Mhm.
which that's
Well-
a little better volume, but
Look at this. So you got Puka, Cup, and then you got DK and Tyler.
4 receivers
See,
off 2 teams.
That's a
yeah,
tough.
That's
well,
tough.
The quarterbacks. I mean, Stafford's pretty good, but
Yeah.
you're looking at Geno Smith. That's tough.
Yeah, but running backs with Najee, Bijan, Bijan, whatever, James Conner, Cook. It was kind of your receivers, man. Cup
Yeah.
being hurt, Lockett being whatever, DK being whatever, Puka being a stud. But so really, you had Puka to hang your hat on. Then the rest of the guys were in and out and up and down.
Well, it's your running backs.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. His running backs were good. I thought.
They were okay.
Yeah, I
Najee
guess I'm
Harris,
giving Robinson too much.
But I mean, the
and
guys
Najee.
on his bench, James Cook, James Conner. I mean, they were all hurt for most of the year.
Yeah.
Or at least James Conner was. James Cook was actually pretty good. But
Yeah, he
Josh
was.
Allen throws the ball so damn much. that-
Javante was terrible, and yeah, it's freaking Josh Allen. He'll kill your running back.
All right, let's go to JL.
Good old Julian Lee.
JL, how the
Man.
hell did you make playoffs with this sorry ass team?
I'm ready to look at it just to
God,
see what
it
we
is-
got going
I don't
on
even
here.
know half your players.
They're not even in the league
They're
anymore.
not-
We couldn't even draft them this year if we wanted to.
I'm telling you what, I don't understand it. You must have had the matchups that were perfect this year, which, hey, I'll take that every time.
I
too.
mean, matchups are the name of the game
Hey.
sometimes. Baker Mayfield. I know that's not the quarterback you ran with all year.
No, so he had
But-
Jordan Love most of the year.
Okay. Can't hate on Jordan Love,
Can't hate
young
on
up and comer,
But even
D Hop.
Well, no. he had Aaron Rodgers.
That,
That,
I
that
think I
had
remember
to
when
have been one
yeah.
of his first picks.
How is he still on your team though? That's what I don't
He's
get.
on the
You didn't
IR.
drop him? Oh, well, still.
I mean, I wouldn't have put him on the IR. I'd have used him for something else. But
Yeah.
well, he was talking about coming back though. All
He
season
was
because
trying, but come on,
Well,
it's an Achilles.
it's
He's
Aaron
like
Rodgers.
52.
Yeah. So
But D Hop is Devontae had some really started off good, but then kind of faded. Tyler Boyd is not startable. Obviously, we're just looking at the last week again, so we'll kind of go through your whole matchup. But
right.
Kareem Hunt, Yeah,
He was never there.
Nah, I
don't
mean
think
he
he got
got a
signed
few
until later.
touchdowns and stuff, but yeah, that was definitely a late season pickup. Njoku, I wanted him to do more than he did. Khalil Herbert. So this is
Yeah.
definitely a not the team you drafted, or at least that lineup
Well-
we went through right there. You can tell it's a bunch of pickups.
Right. Well, he's got Josh Jacobs on the bench, who was not as good as he was the previous year by any means.
Yeah, previous year that freaking won it for you. Josh, he was a beast. He
was
couldn't be stopped.
awesome.
I hated that shit.
Well, and he had Jamar Chase too. That I don't know why he's on your bench the last week, but Jamar was so hit and miss this last year too, where he'd have games of 25, and then he'd have 2.
And Keenan Allen, well, that's how you got in. I mean, Keenan Allen first half of the year was probably wide receiver 1, if
Yeah.
not top 3.
Easy.
And then he just got hurt because he's old.
Right.
Like, it's just, but he was, God, he balled out first half of the year.
Right.
I don't even know if there's a right name for that, but
Cortland Sutton was a good pickup too if he had anybody throwing him the ball. Russ.
I still think he had a decent year. But yeah, I mean,
I was thinking he would have a huge year though.
Yeah, he
he had
should've.
772
Yeah.
yards and 10 touchdowns. But
10
it was the
touchdowns.
quietest 10 touchdowns I've ever.
yeah. Well, I mean, when you have 772 yards, 10
Yeah.
touchdowns, great, but that just means it's like you're only getting red zone targets.
Well, he had 48 yards a game. I mean,
there you go. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm 6'4", just throw it up to me.
yeah.
So
So
I
yeah, I
don't-
mean,
I don't get it, JL. You lucky son of a gun.
hey, that's what it
But,
takes,
hey.
And let me look at.
It's all lucky, man. I
It-
mean, you
yeah,
did have
it's-
Ramonde
it's-
Stevenson. He was actually pretty good for a while.
Yeah, he was. I want to look at the points for JL 1645. So, yeah, I mean
I was in the lower.
that's probably the
Was it mid?
6th because they got the top 3 up here, and then you got me, and then Ewok and JL and Lauren are right there.
Well, those 3 8 and
So
6,
those-
8 and 6 records, those points
Yeah.
determined it.
I mean
Or
that's
no,
kind of.
the matchups did.
It must have been
Whether you
because,
beat him
well,
or
and you
not.
also got to think this standing is after the playoffs, right?
Yeah,
Because you remember,
yeah.
there's no way this guy got up or whatever. But
Right.
still, I mean, well, that just goes to prove, like we talked about earlier, the 8 and 6, 8 and 6, 8 and 6, 6 and 8, and 7 and 7. I mean, those 5, and look, they all have similar points. Well, except for Jackson. I don't know how you're 7 and 7 with 1,500
Well, he only
points,
got
bro.
1561 scored against him.
That's the lowest in the league scored against you.
Yeah.
We should have taken away a win just for that.
Right.
15-60
Hey.
against you, like.
Hey, if you don't get 16,
Is that even
scored
100 a
against-
week? Yeah, I guess there was, 13 weeks in the regular
Somebody's
season?
not
14?
setting their damn lineup 3 weeks out of the year
Damn,
against
that's
that guy.
some luck right there. 1561. But either way, so I mean, yeah, I mean, you fit in right with the rest of us. The 4 through 7 type crew right there.
I don't know how you
Um,
did it. But you know what? It doesn't matter. As long as
Nope.
you win,
Yeah,
Don't
you
matter.
got in there. Then Mr. Doty. Well, see, look at this. I mean, Doty's 7 and 7.
Doty, your team scared the absolute shit
But
out
yeah,
of me.
Doty,
Your
you got a good team.
Your team was one of the ones where I looked at it. Even the depth, I was going, oh man. Because I mean, Lamar Jackson. Lamar didn't have those huge blow. I mean,
No.
obviously the last week I'm looking at is 49 points. But I mean, other than that though,
Yeah.
he didn't have
No.
the MVP season that
No.
was the year before, or his last MVP season. They said he was going to throw the football more, but didn't really see it that much.
Damn, I'm kind of sidetracked again here a little bit, but actually, it's like second.
For what?
Besides you, like the records wise, we were all talking about the 7 and 7, 8 and 6, 6 and
Oh,
8.
yeah. It was a
like,
dogfight.
It was 2 all the way to like
Yeah.
besides the last. So 2 through 8 were within 2 games of each other.
The last 2 weeks of the season, almost all the playoff spots were up for
Damn.
grabs. 2 through, like you said, 2 through 6.
So you're thinking third and second place team? Oh, they're gonna have good records. 7 and 7, 8 and 6.
Beat up on each other.
Like,
Just, it's the luck of the draw, man.
yeah.
But going back to,
But yeah,
Doty's
sorry,
team,
go back to his
okay,
team.
So Debo, Devontae, Adam Thielen as the receiver core. Debo was hurt for more than half the year.
Yeah.
He's always
But
hurt.
he had a good year though. I mean, when he was out there.
When he's playing.
Yeah.
But he's like a Jalen Waddle. He goes in and plays 4 plays, gets hurt for half the game, then comes back and gets hurt again 3 plays later.
Yeah.
So
He's too strong, too fast. I mean, he takes too much on his body.
Yeah.
Like, he's just,
thinks he's bigger than he is.
yeah. Devontae, he was kind of up and down.
He
I
didn't
don't
have
really-
anybody throwing him the football. Man.
Yeah. Thielen, I think, actually had a really good year the second half of the year, right? Just 'cause of
Touchdowns.
targets and touchdowns, yeah.
Actually, you know what?
He probably didn't have that
only
many
had
touchdowns.
4. But
How
I
many
felt
yards,
like
though?
1,014. I felt like he had a pretty good year. I felt like
Yeah.
every time PPR for him, I mean, he had 103 catches. We don't have PPR, so it doesn't really matter.
No, but still.
But 103 catches, that's
Yeah.
a damn good year.
Yeah. And that's consistency, right? That's what you want after the first couple weeks. Like, you're not giving me 15, but if you give me 10 every week and I can count on that, that means something too.
Well, especially as a third receiver.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
good. Not-
Exactly.
Score me 10.
It's not your first round pick, I'll
No.
take that all day. That's a damn good pick. And then of course CMC.
Oh,
like,
he's my favorite
That's a
player.
player and a half,
Dude.
right? That's what helped you is like that dude was scoring as much as like the other team's both running backs
It's
combined.
so irritating seeing him on the other team.
Like, God.
Especially if he's playing Monday night and you're only up by like
Oh yeah,
10
you're-
or 15.
Yeah,
you're not
up-
winning.
Hell, you're up 20 points and you're
Yeah.
still nervous.
You're not winning.
With just him left because he's gonna get 20.
I mean, he had 1,400 yards, 14 touchdowns just on the ground. That's not even receiving.
That's just on the ground. That's already RB1, I bet, just on the ground.
Yeah, and then
pretty
he had
much.
67 catches for another 500 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Oh shit!
So he had 21 touchdowns overall.
Ooh, with
and
2,000 yards,
over
pretty much.
2,000 yards.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's just
Doty, if you're not,
That's-
mowing that guy's lawn for free or something, like,
that's ridiculous.
I'm
shit
trying to
right
keep this
there.
PG over here, but damn.
Right. That's when you see CMC on the other side, it's
Yeah, it
gonna be a
already,
tough week.
Yeah. Your Yahoo projection should already be below 50. Doesn't even matter who else you have in your lineup and who hit. It should already be less than 50% winning percentage just right off the bat, just off of one name.
exactly.
Kenneth Walker had a good year. I was not a big fan of his. Kurt was talking him up.
He struggled last year though.
Did he?
Yeah,
I thought he had at least the first half of the year,
He
first
didn't even-
2/3 of the year or something.
He didn't get to 1,000. He was at 908 touchdowns, which is
But how many
It's-
games was that in?
it's good.
15 games.
But I mean,
So I mean that's 1,000. That's
Yeah.
missing 2 games and still getting 1,000 yards.
he had an ankle, but I mean, still, Zach Charbonnet behind him, whoever picked him up, which was me, he was a bust too. But Kenneth Walker, I think this year is going to be something to, with our new coaches and all that stuff up in Seattle, I think he's going to have a huge year. Alvin Kamara.
Yeah,
Not-
surprise of the year though.
Just-
I was out on him, but
He was
He
bad. He was bad.
no.
Yeah, he was.
What-
600, 700 yards and 5 touchdowns
Well,
for Alvin
how many
Kamara?
games though?
But I mean, he was hurt. But I mean,
Well, he had that suspension to start the year, wasn't it?
was that?
Yeah.
this
So
year?
the
4
good thing
games?
about him is I think catch me if I'm wrong, Doty, but
Right.
I'm pretty sure you got him like 8th round probably. It's not
Is
like
that what it
somebody
was?
you yeah because he's suspended the first 4 games, wasn't
Yeah.
it, or first 3?
He played 13 games.
13 games. So that's missing
So-
4 games.
Well, he still had 75 catches.
Yeah.
I mean, but we're not PPR.
Well, but
So-
still, that's still yards. Even if he's only get 75 catches for how many yards?
Less than 500.
Well, less than 500 though for.
Right.
I mean, CMC had 600, and we were pretty much on our knees for him. So 500 isn't bad.
Yeah, but CMC has
Especially on 13.
7 TDs.
I know,
catching
but
football.
but like I said, Doty probably drafted this guy. We could look it up. I bet he got him 8th round or later.
Something like that. Yeah, just because of the suspension to start. I think you're right, though. Dalton Kincaid at his tight end spot. Not bad. Came on later. Who's the other guy for them? Dalton and... Who's the other
Kincaid and Knox.
tight end? Yeah. Because Knox was hurt for a while. And
Doty,
then
you
came
got him
back.
in round 9. That's a
Oh,
hell of a
tomorrow?
9th round pickup. Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's not round 1 or 2,
Right.
but for the 9th round, I mean,
Yeah.
that's what's up.
Well, Kenneth Walker and CMC were his 2 backs, and then Kamara, which is a hell of a 9th round, 3rd round back. I mean, golly.
Yeah, especially so. I mean, those are his numbers without 4 games. So
Yeah.
that's like taking away a quarter of the season.
Well, and they had no receivers. They literally
Yeah.
every defense was so keyed on Alvin Kamara
Yeah.
that, I mean, you can't even name 2 of the receivers.
Well, I can name them,
Well,
but that didn't mean they're any
Shaheed
good.
and- Shaheed and Thomas.
Well,
were-
Shaheed, yeah, it wasn't
Thomas
Thomas,
was
yeah.
hurt for the
So it
whole
was pretty
year.
much Olave, and he was no
Olave,
deep
there
threat.
you
He was
go.
just short, so they just
Yeah.
stacked the box and.
Well, you had Derek Carr throwing him the
Yeah,
football.
I know. Well, what are you gonna do? You can't ask him to do anything. He'll fuck it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Depth wise, his receivers with Christian Watson
Yeah.
He was hurt all year though too until later.
Tutu Atwell, Logan Thomas.
They all had their moments.
I feel like you probably had some guys in here that we're not seeing because I remember Doty's team, and I mean if we look at points for, I'm sure he's going to be.
Yeah, he was up
I think he was third, right behind you and G,
Is that what he
or
was?
right up there with G. I know you were first on everything.
No, I was actually second on points for.
Oh yeah, G had 2 more, but yeah, then Doty 18-13.
Yeah.
So he was
Us
almost
three.
200 points. Yeah, y'all 3 were within 100 of each other, all at the top.
Right.
Then the next one is almost 200 points behind.
Yeah.
180 points behind. So I mean, you had it going, Doty. You made
Yeah.
the right lineup calls. You had it going.
Exactly. Not a
Yeah.
bad year at all.
No. All right, let's go to Mr. G. All right.
Josh Allen, always a stud.
Yeah. Even in down years, even with the offense
just-
being bad, he's just running, right? He'll just run it in. He'll steal your receivers tight end touchdowns. He'll steal your running backs touchdowns. I mean,
He killed James Cook's points.
yeah. And then Mike Evans, what a blow up year for that dude.
So he's had 9 1,000-yard seasons in a row. You wouldn't think that.
No.
He had Baker Mayfield throwing on the football.
Yeah. It's almost hard to believe he's even been in the league because that was Manziel's guy.
Yeah.
9 years he's been in the league, like, and every year to just be constantly
Right.
be that good is pretty badass. CeeDee Lamb obviously is a
Just
stud.
an absolute monster.
Stephon Diggs fell off at the end of the year last year, but still, I mean, if he's your
His-
wide receiver 3, I'll take that all day.
His last 8 weeks
Yeah.
were so bad, and he still ended up with 1,100 yards, 107 catches, 8 touchdowns, which is pretty good, but it's
Yeah.
not Stephon Diggs numbers.
No, but
They
as a wide receiver 3, that's pretty good.
Oh.
So CeeDee
Shit.
Lamb, Mike Evans. I mean, you're winning a few weeks just off those 2. You add that Joe Mixon, Devin Singletary.
Joe Mixon was he doesn't blow up, but he doesn't suck.
Yeah,
He's always in that 10 to 15 point range every single week.
yeah,
Consistency for that guy.
yeah.
Uh,
Singletary. I mean, he had a few big weeks and
Yeah.
stuff. I'm sure he was a spot starter for you. Rasheed Rice, what a hell of a pickup that guy ended up being, especially last 3 quarters to last half of the year. He was
Yeah.
consistent.
well, they gave
David
those
Mon-
little bubble screens that he scored on
Yeah.
constantly, it felt like.
Yeah. And since they weren't going deep, he was always finding those zones in the
Yeah.
middle and just catching it. And
They block well.
David Montgomery, I mean, what consistency on that?
Yeah.
I mean, he's never going to have 200 yards, but
Yeah.
he had 80 yards minimum every week. And
They're gonna
a
give him a
touchdown every
football.
other week. Yeah.
Him and, he's the pounder, then Gibbs. Stafford,
Yeah,
I
not
guess-
much else on your
no.
depth here, but I'm sure these are a couple
Dylan
guys you
Ford.
probably dropped out. I remember I tried to get that linebacker off of you, though.
Quincy
Well,
Williams, or
no,
Alakun.
Yeah,
Dude,
dude's
that
a
guy had like
beast.
20 a week for a
I
while.
want to see that dude's
Well,
stats.
and Quincy Williams, both. I mean, good night. That Quincy Williams, his other linebacker, had 95 tackles as well.
Damn, it's not going to have like our scoring system type thing, but
No, but he
I
had.
mean, still tackles.
that dude had a 111 solo tackles. So that's 111 points just right there.
Yeah.
Without the sacks. Without,
Yeah,
he had
without the tackle for loss,
He
there's a
had
couple of sacks,
8 tackles for loss, an
An
interception.
interception.
I mean, dude was.
interception for a TD, some pass deflections. I mean, that dude was just.
So annoying when
he was
somebody else's
everywhere.
linebacker scores 15 points.
I know.
God, it's so
I know.
irritating.
And then when they get 20, you just feel like there's nothing you can do.
Oh, when they score, or like a defensive back scores, my whole week's over.
Yeah, it's like,
It's.
just kill me now.
Thanks, Deron Bland, for screwing me on that one. But yeah, his starting lineup
Yeah,
is pretty.
yeah. And I'll admit, man, when you drafted last year, I did not think you had a good team, man.
No.
Like I thought you would be middle of the pack, maybe even a little worse. I mean, CeeDee Lamb, obviously we knew he was going to be good, but Mike Evans, I didn't think was doing anything. Josh Allen's, but your running backs, I didn't think would be any good.
Your running backs, I thought were going to be middle of the pack, and they actually turned out to be
Yeah.
better than that.
Yeah, at least a little better than average. And then when those are your 3 receivers, and Josh Allen's your quarterback,
Yeah,
I mean, there's a reason you led the league in scoring last year. So
Yeah.
that's what's up, man. You put together a good team. Good draft, man. Good draft.
I thought Jackson Smith and Jigba would be better for you too in Seattle, but Pete Carroll kind of stunted his growth year 1.
Yeah, yeah. until Lockett goes, I mean, he'll be better, but until Lockett goes, or at least one of the two between Lockett and Metcalf, then he's always going to be stunted. But yeah, 8-6, man, 1905 for.
That's a lot of points.
Hell of a year, man.
Almost scoring 2,000 points in a year. I mean, that's in 11 weeks, 12 weeks.
Well, I think regular season's 13 weeks, or it might even be 14 now. It was 13, and then when they added the 18th week in NFL.
Yeah, because we
don't play on the 18th week, right?
Because just for players sitting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, scoring 1905 in that many weeks is.
Yeah.
I mean, you're putting up 140 a week almost.
Yeah, just.
These are ridiculous amount.
And then we'll call it there. We don't have to talk about anybody else.
Hey, talk about the champ, baby.
Oh man. This guy.
Ever since I made my team's name play better, they've been doing their shit.
Yeah, rest of the league, y'all got to help me take this guy down this year. There's gonna be no such thing as a three-peat in our league. I can't have that happen.
Right.
I will go to New Orleans, buy some voodoo dolls. Lauren and I will do something to your internet. I don't know. We're gonna figure something out.
Right.
But I can't be having that. I'm gonna tell your boss you need to work more, later nights, earlier mornings, whatever.
Hey, I'm an office guy now. I got the computer all day long now. I actually got lucky this year, to be honest with you. I drafted Tua last.
One of the last round flyer type things.
Literally the last pick of my draft, I think, or second to last, because I had.
I mean, it was a good shot in the dark. It was a smart move.
Yeah. I had Burrow. No, was it that?
No, that was the other league.
Who did I have? Whoever I drafted.
Lawrence. Or was Lawrence the other league? No, I had Lawrence in the other league. Yeah, you had Lawrence in this one. Because you remember he ended up just being terrible.
I dropped him.
Yeah. Starting quarterback, the guy you drafted, he just dropped. That's how bad he was.
Right. And Tua with Tyreek and Mostert all on my team throughout the whole year was ridiculous. I mean, the 40 points for the 40-plus yard, or the 2 points for the 40-plus yards with Tua and Tyreek every week. I mean,
I'm just going to randomly look at one of your weeks, like one of the ones that, especially at the beginning of the year when I know they were playing good, which this might take a little too long, but and just look at your scoring. So week 3 or week 4, and just see, because I would almost bet it's ridiculous. Look at this.
The first couple.
As I'm scrolling through the weeks, week 10, you had Will Levis starting 2.9 points.
I know. I was trying so hard to find a damn quarterback. I couldn't do it. I didn't know how to find a quarterback.
Okay, so perfect example. Random week 3. I knew the first half of the year was definitely awesome. 179. Tua had 40 points. Tyreek had 25. Mostert had 38.
Yeah.
So you had 100 points with those 3 guys.
With all of Miami. Yeah, it was ridiculous because Mostert had 4 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns?
82 and 3, and then another 60 and 1.
Yeah. And then Tyreek had a 40-plus yard
157 yards and a touchdown, one being a 40-yard reception and touchdown.
And that goes with Tua's 4 TDs. That was the week that they scored 70.
Was it against Denver that week?
Yeah. They scored 7.
But I bet what? Let's look at week 2. Oh, you have Trevor Lawrence with his 9 points.
Dude,
but still, let's see what Tariq got. 11. You probably lost this week.
I did lose that week. I didn't start.
It wasn't until week 3 is when you really blew up.
Yeah,
and then I bet it's week 4 too, because you ain't changing that lineup after that week.
No, not even a little bit. I probably averaged about 130 a week.
Damn, this week was pretty shitty. Kyren held you with 24, hell of a pickup. Tua 12, Tyreek 7, Mostert 2.
Well, my defensive players.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
your cornerback got you 32 points.
He had a 92-yard reception, touchdown, interception.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. And my defensive guys, they kept me afloat on weeks that I sucked offensively, with Roquan and T.J. Edwards. Those guys, and Max Crosby was the other one.
Yeah.
Those guys were just absolute money all year long.
I think that's the highest individual defensive scoring I've ever seen.
32?
Yeah, you'll see 20, 25 when they have good weeks. 32.5 pretty much.
Well, and he has sacks. I'm pretty sure he had 2 sacks that game or something.
2 tackles for loss, an interception.
Yeah. He was everywhere.
6 tackles.
It was ridiculous.
A deflection.
Yeah. But you know what? My wide receivers every year are so bad. Besides Tyreek, I had Darius Slayton and George Pickens in my championship week.
And this one you had Garrett Wilson and Michael Wilson. So the Wilson brothers got you 8.2.
Yeah.
But Tua got you 24. Tyreek got you 30 that week.
Yeah.
Mostert got you 13. And then ETN. Get out
Hater.
of here with that. Get
He's a
out of
hater.
here with
He hates him.
ETN. Get out of here. That dude.
ETN and Kyron had
Yeah,
the same
pull up his
amount of
season
points.
stats. I know they're good, but
He had 59 yards a game, which is not good, but he had 1,000 yards and 11 TDs.
his receiving is what helped him a lot
He had
too.
58 catches
For
500 yards and a touchdown.
500 yards and 1 touchdown?
One touchdown. But it was a 40-plus yarder.
But still, 500 yards, I mean, that averages to like 30 or 40. So you're getting 3 or 4 points, not even considering your rushing yards or receiving or touchdowns. That's just receiving yards.
Right.
In our league, that's not PPR. That's pretty good.
Right.
I'll take a 3 or 4 points off of just receiving yards.
I'm telling you who saved my season, though. Mr. Kyron Williams.
Yeah, that
he had
dude.
1,100 yards, 12 touchdowns, and then he had another 32 catches for 3 touchdowns.
And that was in 12 games.
Yeah.
He missed 5 games.
He missed it, in the middle.
And had 1,100 yards
Mm-hmm.
and 12 touchdowns.
He was awesome.
That's insane.
all year long.
I'm
when
going
he
to look at
played.
this game log.
It was ridiculous.
12 That's
Yeah.
I mean, easy math tells you that's 100 yards a game.
Easy. And the catches that he was getting, it felt like he had 4 or 5 catches each game, too.
So even in his bad games, right, 52 rushing yards. Oh, but he got 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
52 rushing yards again. Oh, but he got a touchdown. Oh,
Yep.
and another 48 receiving yards and a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And then 38, another bad one. 27. So that was his really only bad week. Then it's 100 yards, 2 touchdowns,
Yep.
50 yards with a receiving score, 150 yards a
He
touchdown,
scored almost every
140
week.
yards, 88 yards with a touchdown, 115 yards, 100. I mean, it's ridiculous after that. That dude, yeah,
Him and ETN
yeah.
were a deadly combo.
You had your explosive guys, and then you had your consistent running backs, and
Yep.
consistent running backs are will definitely take you a long way. So
Right.
hell
I
yeah.
didn't have very much bench.
No, you didn't. I mean, you had
Godwin
C.J.
was-
Stroud.
Godwin was bad. Garrett
Yeah.
Wilson, since Aaron Rodgers was bad.
But, yeah. Lockett was bad.
Lockett was
Charbonnet just never got his opportunity. Ronnie Rivers, I don't even know who the fuck that is.
Who do you see?
Right.
Ronnie Rivers.
On the bench right here.
I don't have him.
You know what? I'm still in like week 4 or something.
Yeah. Well, I picked up Zamir White too for the last 4 weeks of the season for the Raiders, and he was really good too. I actually started him in the championship game, and he got me 10 plus. But it was honestly the Miami Dolphins show.
Yeah.
Tua, Tyreek, Mostert, and then Etienne and Kyren, and then the Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton last 2 weeks of the season, baby, 20 plus.
That's a hell of a call, though. I mean, I got to give it to you that. I shake my head because that's.
You
like,
did,
Are you
too.
fucking kidding me? But you made the call.
Made the call.
You called me and said, "Hey, I think I might go start this dude." And I said, "I mean, the matchup looks good and all that, but I don't know, man. Shit."
Yeah.
And you started. I think it was first quarter, wasn't it? It was like first quarter or second quarter.
Yep. And
he had like a 60-yard bomb.
Yeah,
First quarter.
65.
And I'm like,
I
fuck.
almost started Tyrod Taylor instead of Tua that week too.
Oh yeah, which if I remember right, both of them did terrible, didn't
Yeah.
they?
Well, yeah. One had 15, one had 20.
Yeah, so
But
not terrible.
I
but
can't
they,
find a quarterback.
Yeah.
Somebody please help. I can't figure it out. So, but my defensive guys with Crosby, Roquan Smith, and T.J. Edwards, those guys were absolute monsters all the time. So, if you guys don't think defensive players are important, try
Yeah,
again.
they can be. I mean, it's weird with defensive players because they'll win you weeks and they can lose you weeks, and you can draft good ones, but you can also pick up good. I guess it's just like running backs, right? Depends on who gets hurt and all that because you can pick up a linebacker in week 7 that'll win you games.
Right.
But it is something you got to pay attention to.
Those top tier guys with a Roquan Smith or a Fred Warner, I mean, those guys are going to get you 10 plus just on tackles alone.
Yeah.
Even if they're assisted, I mean, they're still getting 15, 16 tackles a game.
Right.
The sacks and tackles for loss are just a bonus on the linebackers. But
So
Good season.
yeah. What
Wasn't
else you
bad.
got, Mr. Casper?
Not much, man. We went through all the teams all of last year. I'm super excited for this next year coming up with all the rookies and good guys coming into the league. It's going to be
Yeah.
This league is very competitive, so it's going to be competitive yet again.
Yeah, it was some pretty good trades, free agent moves and stuff. And hey, I was pretty proud of the league for having some trades last year. I mean, I know we
Yes.
only had maybe 2 or 3, but I mean, sometimes it's 0. So
Right.
appreciate that, guys. I'll be definitely trying to trade some more and stuff this year. But I was gonna hit up manager rating and levels just to look at everybody's kind of history and stuff. But my computer's running pretty low, and it's getting late, so I'm gonna call the old man dad thing on this.
Shit.
But yeah, no, I mean, kind of thrown together, guys. So I hope you appreciate me and Mr. Casper talking. I mean, even if you watch it and just laugh and think we're idiots, I don't give a fuck.
Hey,
We're
hey,
talking
hey.
fantasy in June, right?
Exactly.
Last day of June.
Exactly. Hey, just call me
Almost.
the champ too. If anything else, just do that.
Yeah.
Idiot, champ, whatever.
Hey, if you love you some fantasy football, it's never too early to start talking.
Exactly.
It's 2 days away from July. Starting mini camps and OTAs and whatever else coming up, and then preseason. Next thing you know, fellas, it's that time. So
It's that time, man.
I'll be sending out some texts probably the next few weeks. But if you got any, like any new ideas on rules, whether you want to do 2 quarterbacks or PPR or get rid of 40-point plays or add a kicker or just whatever, just shoot them my way. We'll always do a vote. I always run it that way. I think it's best if everybody does that. Sometimes it causes shit to not get passed through because everybody's too on the fence about it, but I like the league we got. If we don't change anything, I'm fine with it. Usually I change at least one little thing or something, but yeah, just hit me up. Let me know what you got, fellas, and lady Lauren. I'm sure you got my ear the most, so you ain't got it. I'm gonna hear it 4 times before I even get home. So
Hey guys, it's us against them at this point.
I know there should be some damn collusion going on, but
I'm just telling you.
we're both too competitive for that shit.
Right, right. So
But yeah, no, I appreciate you listening. Shout out. Let us know. We'll try to get this done every week. I don't know if that'll be possible. Maybe every other week, or this first one's gonna be pretty long just because we went over all that, and that actually took longer than I thought. I thought we'd be 15 minutes tops. But,
get 15 minutes on one team.
Hey, when you talk fantasy, you can go and go and go, or at least us two can. Maybe we're just the nerds about it, but
I mean, it is what it is. I could talk for hours.
yeah.
But this is going to be it's going to be another fun year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Going for that 3-peat, baby. But
Keep dreaming about it. Keep dreaming.
hey, every night, give me my money.
All right. Well, 4th and Drunk to Go League podcast. Like I said, we'll get the misses on here next week. Get the trifecta going. Hell, if y'all want to start shooting out some questions or anything you want us to talk about or anything, we're going to be a nationwide show before long.
You damn right. Hey, it's just the start, baby.
Woo! I like it. All right. Appreciate you guys. See you next week.